the Canadian Tank Museum, a volunteer here, as well as on the board of directors. Today is our last day of the Aquino Tank Weekend. We've had 2 great days so far. First day was media. Second day we had over 2,000 people here with tank rides, pyrotechnics, 2 reenactments that happened. We had the Gulf War, where we actually reunited Gulf War veterans with their vehicles. They came over from the UK and saw their vehicles sometimes for the first time in 35 years. Then they got to drive them and be a part of our Gulf War reenactment, both yesterday and today. We also have a World War II reenactment happening. There's another one this afternoon where we will be actually demonstrating the liberation of the Netherlands. We'll bring out all their vehicles, share about local vehicles, vehicles from other museums that are here, and you can even get tank rides.
Tell us about the history of the museum a little bit, if you can.
Sure.
It's amazing, and this is the biggest tank event I thought I read in North America.
You are correct. We also have the most moving, working military vehicles in North America. The museum actually started from many members from the Ontario Regiment who pooled their money and bought Ferret Scout cars, and they used to come out and play. Now we've gotten the regiment's, all of their curated static section. We built this place here, and we have been sharing the regimental history of the Ontario Regiment for the last 40 years here. And now we've grown even bigger. We're looking to expand into a new building. We've launched a new program to get the capital funding for a new building. And then we're hoping to expand even more. So from becoming the Ferret Club to the Ontario Regiment RCAC Museum, and now we are the Canadian Tank Museum, and we're recognized worldwide.
This is amazing to see these things in action, so to speak, as much as you can. But I mean, it's amazing for the history to see the kids, to see the parents, to see people that have actually driven these vehicles. It's history in action, I guess is the best way to put it.
Definitely. This is about preserving history and sharing history. It's not glorifying war. We're here to actually bring history to life, make it exciting. You know, we don't want to lose that history and that knowledge that came from it. And this is one way to be able to get that knowledge to be passed down to other generations.
Once in a lifetime for some of these people getting a tank ride.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, these main battle tanks right behind me. We've got a bunch of Leopards and an M60 here. They are a thrill to ride in. I've had a few rides myself, and yeah, it's a great experience going up over the berm that's back there. It is a thrill. It's a very exciting. You know, they don't go slow.
Last question. Must take a long time to plan this, to put it on, to get ready for it. But when you see both days like this, it's well worth it. If you could just talk about it.
Definitely. So with the Tank Museum, as soon as we clean this all up tomorrow, they'll start planning for next year. There's debriefs that are done right away, and we will start planning to make it bigger and better for next year. There are so many different things here to see from in the Worthington Commons area. There are reenactors that have camped all weekend. We've got gladiators. We've got tons of different other military museums here to share their knowledge. The OMVA is here as well to show their passion about military vehicles and how you can become a part of any part of this organization.
Last thing.
Get it with this type of, you can shoot BB like a little plastic balls, and you have an infrared emitter and an infrared receiver, so you can battle with lasers, you know.
Something that's okay. Don't grab at it.
means to you as a veteran?
Well, I did serve in the military until 2002. When I found this museum, I actually paid for a leopard ride, and at the end of the day someone said you should be a member here. So 8 years later I'm giving leopard rides. I even got a tattoo of it, so definitely it meant a lot to me. I love the fact that I'm still giving back for all the good things that I got out of being in the military, and this is just my little way of giving back to those guys that are still serving and to the ones we've lost.
Like Bill said, it's not glorifying history, but it's just educating people. Like I can't emphasize how much this has educated the people in the stands.
Yeah, I mean that's the main part. Most of us here are either into the military history or we're into the vehicles, or there's something here that draws us all here, and there's no way we can do it.
Where did you serve?
I served. I started in Aurora in the reserves. I ended up full-time as a reservist, and then after that I ended up in Bosnia. So it means a lot to me to be able to serve, and 15 years after my service I can still give back.
Can I get your last name?
racing. Come on. Come on. Got something.
I bet you they're actually putting oil on.
He's fired a sweet fire missile that missile fires. We'll speak of the last one in a moment. When the missile fires, you see. Coming up. Fired on from all directions, including the rear.
Leopard seems to be in the firing position first, but not, oh there we go, now the Leopard's tracking the M60, both tank on tank. M60 with its frontal armor forward and behind the hill. You get very difficult shot. M60 gets a round off on the Leopard. He's sort of positioning, Leopard still tracking the target. With a second great shot by the M60. Again, the M60 coming out of cover, charging toward the faster Leopard. The Leopard's going to have to use his speed to get out of the track. M60 safely behind the feature, and Leopard speeding into that hull down position. Now Leopard just peeking up over the hill, trying to get a target on that M60. Oh, great hit. Each one got a hit, almost the side deck of those tanks.
Carriers of a reconnaissance unit coming forward to scout out the area ahead. Reconnaissance units worked ahead of the main force, usually with light vehicles that were quiet and easily maneuverable, like the Universal Carrier. Whatever they lacked in armor, they usually made up for in speed. In this case, the Universal Carrier could get up to 50 kilometers an hour behind it. Now these Universal Carriers are looking ahead through the grass, not seeing anything just yet. Oh, and the Greyhound spotted them, and they're being fired upon now. And now the infantry have spotted them, and they've made contact. Reconnaissance elements being usually equipped with such light vehicles. In 1937, 53K. During their invasion of the Soviet Union, the German forces, of course, captured lots of Soviet equipment, including this one that was built based on their longer before the war broke out. So when they captured these cannons, even though they were slightly higher caliber, 45 millimeters, they were otherwise larger as their own, making it very easy for trained troops to adapt to the cannons that they captured and use them on other fronts as well. Despite one of the crew members of the Universal Carrier has survived, they're still trying to fire away with a machine gun. But in the meantime, it's quiet as they wait for the inevitable advance of Allied units. And in they come. Sherman tanks leading the way. In this particular case, the Canadian troops in the Netherlands were largely using A4 Sherman, which is a super version of Sherman with vertical volley spring suspension, the big sets of 6 double wheels, and an extended back end with a huge multi-bank engine for their power plant, which is actually 5 inline 6-cylinder engines, all in the central crankshaft. A whopping 30 cylinders that put out 370 horsepower or a 33-ton vehicle. Certainly necessary for a vehicle of that weight. Unfortunately, the Sherman, being somewhat more gradually outclassed by this point in the war, has been taken out by a shot from Stug and Greyhound, so their crew are bailing out right now. The Sherman was one of those cases of reliability and ease of manufacture proving their worth over that quality and invulnerability. There were over 49,234 Shermans made during the conflict, used by US, Canadian, British. Meanwhile, the Stug has now been taken out by that more upgraded cannon on the Sherman. The Sturmgeschütz 3, in this case, that you see sitting on the hill on the left, was actually originally made to be a self-propelled artillery vehicle that was meant to be used in an offensive assaulting role against fortifications. It was equally effective being a destroyer in a defensive role, which it took on much more later in the conflict. That being said, they are made on the chassis of the much earlier Panzer III medium tank, so their armor is not especially substantial, and even some earlier versions of Shermans could deal with them reasonably well. That being said, they were still a considerable, especially with later with a 75mm cannon, as this one was, which is why they prioritized it to take it out. So meanwhile, the Germans are losing armor support, after them a Greyhound being all that they've got left in this particular case. Now, the M8 is actually an American car made by Ford, and 823 units were made, and it's in all likelihood this one in particular was captured during the Battle of the Bulge the preceding winter, when Germans tried to achieve through in Allied lines, pushing toward the North Sea coast. You have 13 universal carriers among them, usually equipped with the .303 caliber British Bren machine gun that had been adopted based on the Czech ZB-VZ-30 machine gun from before the war. And it's amazing how much of British combat doctrine was actually based around, along with putting it in vehicles for infantry and anti-air roles. The infantry, of course, would carry it as their machine gun. And rather than featuring a belt, it fed from these 30-round, top-fed magazines that were reloaded into the weapon. And interestingly, every soldier actually carries pouches on their load. So in that sense, the main threat that the tank is designed to overcome, always has, always will, is the machine gun. Machine gun bullets don't penetrate that armor. The infantry, meanwhile, on the Canadian side are armed with Lee 303 British caliber round. The German forces, meanwhile, use the Karabiner 98K as their rifle, which is the first time now that they adopted a short rifle in 1935. Earlier to their 1990s used in the First World War. To consolidate their position. But in fact, they're not actually going to want to remain on this position for long, either returning back to their original positions or to keep moving on ahead to the next objective. Because in this particular case, the German doctrine was such that artillery would often be quickly fired on recently vacated positions.